Good morning, it's me, Mikey Pipes. Did you miss me? Even though I fed you yesterday a little bit of a snack. In yesterday's video, an emergency service call, the phone rings at around 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm actually laying in bed. I landed at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm tired. I'm laying in bed, but not enough to fall asleep. The phone rings, the guy lives not too far away from me, and he wants an emergency service call because he has no heat or hot water. I go there, the pilot is out, I replaced the thermocouple, but I also noticed that the temperature and pressure gauge was reading over 30 PSI. And towards the end of the video, the actual expansion tank is actually starting to get wet because it's rupturing, right? And I explained this to the guy, and I also found that his thermostat was defective, but he doesn't want that replaced. He just wanted to know the size of the expansion tank. And I'm not giving him more information than he actually needs, so I said, the expansion tank that you needs to accommodate 120,000 BTUs. Just like that. Anyway, he calls me on my phone last night, around 6, 7 o'clock last night, and he goes, I just want to let you know that I just drained the water from the boiler and the pressure is fine now. I'm like, oh, you're the same guy who said he was running all the cold water out of the water heater. Right? I was like, you think by turning on the hot water faucet, you're going to let all the cold water come out of the water heater. You're a real genius. Real genius. Anyway, today, Daniel got here this morning. He got gifts. Someone was kind enough, I think his name is Mike from upstate New York, sent him a nice tool bag. Thank you very much. And also someone else sent him a Mophie, one of those things that you can charge your phone with different cables. Very nice. Say thank you, Daniel. See? He loves you. You love him. We're a big happy family. Anyway, we're on our way to Jamaica, New York. Gonna work on a boiler, and hopefully I'll get some great content to show you. Stay tuned. Thumbs up. Subscribe. Thoughts, feedback, comments in the comment section down below. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, would you like us to get masks?
Are you vaccinated?
Yes.
So we are.
Excellent.
Good.
Welcome to 2021. How are you? Mr. Green?
It's Mike.
Yes.
Mike and Daniel.
Oh, how do you know that?
I'm not telling.
Oh, you're telling.
I'm not telling.
We're here for a tune-up for you. Yes?
Maintenance.
Okay.
If I tell you, then you gotta live up to my expectancy. I don't.
I already know.
I got alright. Can I get your autograph first?
Okay. I'll get you some stickers too. Oh, hello, puppy. Why are you in the cage?
Crate.
Crate train.
Crate train.
How you doing this wonderful morning?
Well, she'd be all over you, that's why. I'm doing fine. And you?
Daniel, have you seen this before?
Never, no.
So this is like a homemade like hydroponic farm. It uses these little capsules and you grow vegetables, plants, whatever you want. And different capsules for different things. Like he's growing the seeds from right there. See?
No, she's girl.
Oh, she is. Sorry, the wife. She's the one in charge. Yeah, the boss.
Yeah, the boss is at work.
And the boss is at work. Good morning, ma'am. How are you? Which way are we going? This way? Behind door number 2.
And I prepped and got ready. I mean, I had to.
Okay, that's an old Weil McLain. Very nice. Very, very nice.
So
when's the last time it was serviced?
Yeah, I know he's gonna ask that. The latest date I got on here is like 2010.
Okay.
I had somebody come in, just in full disclosure and
Yes.
honesty, anxiety. I mean, besides the age, I'm getting old. I mean, I'm 67.
We're all getting old.
This has been in here as long as we've been here, and it's like, okay, what winter is it gonna go?
As long, it's cast iron. So as long as it doesn't have a hole in it, like a crack in the heat exchanger because of fresh water being constantly added to it because of a leak,
Okay.
it'll last forever. You can replace the components on it over and over and over again. And as long as the cast iron is intact,
Can I
you're
breathe
good.
first?
Go ahead. You can breathe.
I can relax.
You can relax. Oh, say, I see you have a manual feed.
Manual feed.
So one question, and the rest is all irrelevant, to me at least. How often do you add water in the winter?
How often I add water in? Well, when we moved in, and it's of course gets added water the most in the winter.
Correct.
But it's like I'll check it every 2 weeks, every month. And I'm having flashbacks of what I've seen. It's like, well, you know, I add water. It never runs dry. That's all I can tell you.
Good.
So I'll show you my process. I didn't want to touch it until you got here.
Okay.
Here's the manual drain.
Yep.
I drain it. Of course, when it's steaming and whatever, it comes out at an awful higher rate. And you see it's coming out clean. Basically, I never really touched this. I had a guy come in here, same thing like last winter.
Okay.
I had anxiety. He's like, when is this thing going to go? Come and look at it. He just opened this a little bit and...
Okay.
So what I'd like from you guys is...
Combustion test, make sure everything's clean, make sure everything's working, make sure safety's work, everything's set to where it should be. And
give me a plan or a systematic,
sure.
What am I supposed to do? I mean, this I like you to open and check, see if it's... You open it and it still leaks. I mean.
Yes. So the one thing that you need to do during the winter is make sure that the low water cutoff turns off the boiler.
Right.
And then, of course, you need to replace that water. And that should be done no more than once a month.
And that's basically the... No, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, that's... The low water shut off, I know, does work. Because when it's on, of course, this is the water, of course, you know, the way I'm letting it out. So once I drop the water, it's like once I open it, it shuts down.
Perfect. And that's the way it should. Excellent. And basically you're blowing down the boiler, the low water cutoff, you know, and hopefully you're only doing it once a month. Doing it more frequently is not necessary, especially because you're adding fresh oxygenated water to a cast iron system. You don't want to do that because the main reason steam boilers fail, and it's usually a crack or a hole above the water line, is there's a leak somewhere in the system. And the leak could be steam being released from the system and it's not being captured into back to the boiler. A wet return leak, you know, the pipe that's usually maybe underground or here, for example. If that has a hole in it and you're losing water, if you're losing water, you have to replace it. And if you're adding, and I have some customers that they hear the automatic valve run several times a day. And when I pull up to the house on a cold winter day and I see white smoke at the top of the chimney, I already know what they need. And that's a new boiler. So as long as you don't have that, like I said, this thing will last a lifetime. The components, you'll have to replace.
Well, that's the other thing to say. Fortunately, since we've been here,
thank God.
There has
Perfect.
Nothing wrong with this boiler.
Perfect.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, the good old... that's good asbestos right there.
Is it? And it's like, well, what's your recommendations?
Don't touch it.
Yeah, that's what I got too.
If anything, I'm not saying remove it. If it's not disturbed, it's fine. You know, there are companies that can encapsulate it, the asbestos pipe insulation, or remove it. And if you remove it, now you need to replace it with steam pipe insulation, not asbestos. But as long as you don't touch it, and let's say, and the rule in New York is that, let's say I have to, and for insurance and liability reasons, if I were to replace this boiler, there can't be any asbestos within 10 feet. So it's a little less than 10 feet here to there, but you can't do that.
Okay, we haven't said
good asbestos.
It's not part of the maintenance, but.
So you have this 40 or 50 gallon water heater? 40. And you had asked, how does this get its power? This flashing light, right?
Yeah, where's it? It's like,
that's a great question. So
tracking in.
There's no trust me, there's no battery, and it's by osmosis. I'm joking. I'm joking. Now, okay, if you notice on your boiler, you have a pilot that's always on, right? And it's a great example of the differences between this valve and the one for your water heater. On this valve here, which I really don't want to touch because if you touch it, sometimes usually things break at this old age. But this copper tube right here, this is called a thermocouple, right? And it has two bisimilar metals inside of it. And at the end is like it's a larger tube. And it sits in the pilot flame. And when it's sitting in the pilot flame, those bisimilar metals heat up and create about 20 millivolts of power, right? Which in this case is enough to hold the magnet, which is the pilot valve. If you ever relit the pilot on this before?
No.
Okay, good. So I don't want to I don't want to get into that, but when you relight the pilot, you turn this knob to pilot, push down on it because you're pushing down on the valve and the magnet that's there. And then when you relight the pilot, you hold that down for about a minute, and those 20 millivolts will hold the magnet open, and hence you're proving there's a pilot flame. Okay. Now, similar to here, now your question directly answered is that this uses not a thermocouple, but a power pile. It's similar to a thermocouple, but it's much larger. And it creates 750 millivolts, generally. And that powers this electronic gas valve.
Okay. That was driving me wild.
Now you know. So, and that's why you'll see, it says one of the error codes is 2 flashes, thermal pile voltage low. So when that power pile gets worn enough over time, you're get less voltage from it, and that gas valve will tell you, theoretically, right. In a perfect world. This is not a perfect world, but generally when it goes out, there's no light, and you have to try to relight it. And if it doesn't relight, you replace the pilot generator. Okay. Yeah, no, it was dirty. All right, I caved Testo 300. This is the first boiler we're using it on. Turned it on. We're gonna let this fire for about 5-7 minutes. Let that heat up, and then we're gonna do a combustion test. I was looking for the transformer, which is giving 24 volts to the system, and Daniel found it. It's up there. A lot of times you see transformers up in basement ceilings. It's usually for a doorbell. But in this case, there's our thermostat wire. It's armor steel shielded. See that? You don't see that often. This is one of those cases. Thermostat wire, 24 volt wire, and it's wrapped in steel. You'll only see that in New York, by the way. Why? Same reason why you see BX in New York, because the rats will eat through everything. So everything is wrapped in metal in New York, especially conduit. Everywhere is conduit. So there's a transformer, 24 volts for this system. What, you got a ground there? What is that? Oh, something, where is it? But it's not a ground, this is gas. Any idea why this is on here? Ceiling? No. It's a ground though. See, that's the connection for a ground. But this is, you don't want to ground the gas. You definitely don't want to do that. And plus it's painted anyway. Or galvanized, or someone painted this. Yeah, it's paint because it's the same color there. You're never going to get a ground on that, but that's not, never use that as a ground. And it looks like, no.
Well, I know I used to
wow,
have in
oh my God, look at this water main. This is amazing. You have 1 inch coming in, right? And then you have a dresser coupling there going to 1.1 inch. Oh no, that looks like 1 inch. All right, and there's the water meter, and there's a dresser coupling, brass, copper, right, and then brass. Look at this, it's got 1.5 inch brass, copper. Wow. Do you have flushometers in your house? You know what a flushometer is? The lever, you don't have a tank on your toilet, right? You have one of them.
Is it? One down here in the basement.
Okay.
It has a flushometer.
Nice. You have a flushometer. You need that.
We had the bathroom done over, so that was converted to a tank.
Oh, it sucks. A water hammer arrestor. Wow.
What? What'd you say that was?
This is a water hammer arrestor.
What is that tank was we had used to have.
Wow. See the brass? Wow. You don't see stuff like this often, and when you do, you really gotta treasure and value and appreciate this, because things aren't done like this anymore. Wow. All right, back to the boiler.
That's the one thing when we purchased this house.
They spared no expense when they built this house. This was like the builder's house.
My best guess was that was it, or from looking at the house across the street, it's similar. It's brick, and the rest of the houses are frame. So is your house full brick or? Yeah.
Yeah. So you probably had the builder house. Or the model house with every single option that was on it, and to have 1.5 inch brass water main, water service in your house, you needed flushometers, and yeah, because you need the water volume in order for that to flush, like in a building.
Depending on when it was built, I think it was This house is at least 80, 85.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. All right. Let's press start. All right. Do your thing, Daniel. It's just like yours. All right. Let's see what we got so far. So far, nothing. It's only been a few minutes. I mean, a few seconds. I'm gonna let that run for a little bit. All right. So we have O2 at 6.6%. We have 3 particles per million of CO. The boiler is 79.6% efficient. CO2 is 8.07. Stack temperature, which is contributing to that low efficiency, is 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Not bad. Not bad. We're good. I'll pause that. Okay. So we're changing these valves because it's missing the knobs, but I was going to replace the sight glass. However, we couldn't find the sight glass tubing cutter. Now, Daniel, okay, real quick. I want you to take a look at the 2 valves. This is great. I'm glad you just did that way. There's 2 different ones, right? If you notice, there's a difference between the 2 of them, right?
This one has a drain.
That one has a drain, right? So the drain is going to go on the one on the bottom.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. And we'll make that nice and tight. And then we'll put this one on the top. And I couldn't find the tubing cutter in the truck. And I know exactly what happened with it. And shame on you, Godzilla. Yes, I'm blaming you, Godzilla. The reason why, the last time I used a sight glass cutter was a job that me and Godzilla did in Elmont for that old Weil McLain boiler. Remember that, Godzilla? It had carbon built into it. We spent a half day there scrubbing the boiler apart. I also replaced the sight glass. Right? The tubing cutter stayed in the 5-gallon bucket with the debris and garbage, and it got thrown out. So, Godzilla, you just cost me $22 to buy a brand new one. Shame on you, Godzilla. I'm just messing with Godzilla. Dan, you like basketball at all?
I don't like sports.
Oh.
But, I mean, if I'm going to play a sport, I'll play basketball.
Yes and no.
Just so I can put a plug in my head.
Oh, yes and no. So, 2 months before COVID, this is January of 2020, a client, also a friend, he has season tickets to the Nets. And near the court, like, I don't know, 12 rows back. So me and my son went to this game. It included food and beverages, which is nice, right? I went to this game and I had a great time. I loved it. And it was so close to the action. It's like amazing, right? And I'm not really a sports guy, but if anything, I'm going to root for a New York team. And the Nets would be one. The Yankees would be another. The Giants for football, right? But I had such a great time. I actually went online StubHub and I found other tickets, to buy. And unfortunately, it was during COVID and whole quarantine and I couldn't go. But I ended up like, I'm going to buy season tickets to the Nets. All right? And I reached out to them, got a great deal. And preseason starts, the home game starts this Friday. And I have 2 tickets, which I can't go to. I was going to ask him if he wanted. You play basketball? You like basketball games?
My cousin has been on it. No.
No, okay. But I have 2 tickets, which is the first home game. It's preseason, but I think I'm going to call Godzilla and give it to him. Maybe. We'll see. It's 2 days.
You can collect you $22.
Yeah.
Would you rather use this one than the one that came out?
I would rather use the one that one, actually.
Okay.
But now, you know how to do that?
I do.
Good. Okay. The crack is going to go on the top.
Okay.
And if you position the sight glass just right, the washer will protect it. Now, if we'll take a look at this, we have...
The one with the black, yeah.
Yep. So we have, this is the nut. Now we have a brass washer, which goes in there first, and then followed by this washer. All right. Just like that. And then don't forget, now you slide that all the way down. Okay. And cool. Now to the other one. All right, now you're going to slide up the top first, all right, and then get the bottom in. Okay, now remember we have a little crack there, so we want to try to have the washer act as the, I guess, the epoxy to cover up that crack though, and perfect. So now you'll tighten that up right there. And as long as it doesn't leak, we're good. And you'll make that snug by hand. And then go for the bottom and catch that. Perfect. And then we'll fill the boiler back up with water. Yeah, make it nice the way it was. Okay, very nice. Okay. So he's just going to turn the boiler on before we leave. Make sure everything's functional. And finish up the service call. Not bad. Perfect combustion results, though. Perfect. Perfect. She's old, but she still works. We're going to put those original ones back in. They're nicer. Keyspan doesn't exist anymore, but what does exist is me. And I'm Pipe Doctor. It's my company. And
now when I'm asked, am I a customer, I can say, sure.
You're an existing client. There you go. And since I know that you are a YouTube subscriber, I don't have version 3.0 stickers in the truck, but I have my first sticker and the second one of over the summer. The over the summer one was the Bosch systems that I like to put in. But this is the first sticker that I came out, and I've mailed thousands of them out. It's crazy. But there's 2 for you. Thank you for calling us. Really appreciate it. And if you're watching, if you want any stickers, email me, Mike at mikeypipes.com. Details in the description box down below. He was watching my video. This is the carbonized Weil McLain steam boiler that we did.
So for starters,
wow, this is 2 years ago.
Switch is dead. We checked for continuity.
This must not be the one then.
If you notice, they didn't even put the plate on where it should be.
See, that's a rollout switch there. And this must be a different boiler. Yeah, see?
All right, took out all the burners.
And that's why it's important to keep your gas equipment properly serviced and maintained. Great boiler, nice and clean. All right, Daniel. Thoughts, feedback, comments, criticism?
I'm surprised it was that clean. And that
very clean boiler.
And the combustion result was like perfect.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. Very nice. And he's a viewer, subscriber. Look at that. Very nice guy. Very nice guy. We gave him a couple stickers. Oh, I forgot to autograph him. Remember he asked for the autograph?
Yeah.
I forgot. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. You know, a routine service call for a tune-up on a Weil McLain gas-fired steam boiler. Found it in great condition. Excellent condition. Combustion test with the Testo 300. Yes, I know. I hate it. You hate it too, but it is what it is. And we also replaced 2 steam radiator air valves. Complaint on one radiator was it's very cold in the room. Complaint in the other radiator, the master bedroom, it's too hot. So we put in 2 vari-valve adjustable steam radiator air valves. Instructed him about, you know, the opening and closing of the lever for his own homework that he's going to need, because it's all about balancing, a perfect balance. And he's happy. He's happy. Nice guy. Very nice guy. All right, let me get your thoughts, feedback, and criticism down in the comment section down below. Make sure you thumbs up the video. St. Mike commands thee to thumbs up this video. Stop putzing around. I posted a couple videos in Hawaii. I only had 90% thumbs up. What's wrong with you people? Don't you know I feed you even when I'm on vacation? So make sure you thumbs up this video and make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. Be well, God bless, stay safe.